it back and even laughs and says no, and then continues once, but twice. And it was all over the organisers not wanting her to have the microphone.
Right now, lots of speculation about what is going on with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle after she decided to call in sick to a major Kevin Costner charity event on Friday night after that damning Hollywood Reporter takedown described her as a dictator in high.
What happens when Meghan pushes forward and Harry hesitates? A royal awkwardness you can't stop watching.
Quite a shock that Meghan wasn't at the Kevin Costner event, wasn't it? It's for first responders, it's a charity thing. There were lots of A-listers there like Jeff Bridges and Rob Lowe and Pink, and you'll remember last year
discussing the headlines, the outfits, the grins, yet no one mentions the mic. That little microphone revealed more about Harry and Meghan's bond than any royal analyst or palace statement ever would.
Investigation by the Hollywood Reporter.
Wow, there's lots to unpack with this. There's lots of theories obviously going round. I personally, with Meghan, we know that she's excited.
Meghan wasn't meant to be on that stage, that was obvious. Yet there she stood, moving forward as though the spotlight belonged to her. Creased outfit, strained smile, and all. She attempted to seize a moment that was never hers to own.
Came on stage, and I think it was Harry was meant to give a speech because one of the female organisers walked over to Harry with the mic.
The audience saw it, cameras caught it, and Harry, he hardly responded. Usually he'd be beside her, handing her the mic, letting her take the stage. Not now. He stayed fixed, keeping the moment for himself, leaving Meghan in an odd limbo, a spotlight where she didn't fully belong.
And he gestured like he does to give it to Meghan. And Meghan reached for it, and the lady quickly changed her mind, took the microphone away, and pretended that she was...
It was uncomfortable, so uncomfortable that those in the audience didn't know whether to applaud or avert their eyes. The familiar charm around them disappeared, replaced by quiet bewilderment. Meghan's effort to step into the event fell flat, and it was clear she wasn't drawing focus. She was noticeable for entirely the wrong reasons.
Walking in the distance. And then not long after that humiliation, obviously this is on the stage, everybody's there watching it, the other organiser, a gentleman...
And still no one stopped her. The host didn't act. Security stayed put. It was as though the world collectively shrugged, letting the tension play out. Her forced presence disrupted the flow, creating a moment awkward, raw, and painfully public. What stands out is how subtle it remained. No yelling, no dramatic moves, just a misalignment of expectations, a clash of egos, and a stage suddenly too small for both. That unplanned appearance revealed everything about their dynamic, yet largely went unnoticed by the media.
An article has come out from the Hollywood Reporter with reportedly 12 people willing and waiting to back it up. So they've made sure that they have...
The instant Meghan walked onto the stage, something shifted. Not in a romantic "my queen has arrived" sense. No, it was quieter, more uneasy. The mood changed, and you could sense it, even from the back row. Harry, usually kind and engaged, suddenly tensed. The effortless charm that normally follows him disappeared, that faint public smile gone. He held the mic near, talking, keeping the moment for himself, while Meghan tried to carve a space in it, a space that wasn't hers to claim.
He decided not to do that.
Yes, there certainly seems to be, I would say, trouble ahead, I think, for the couple.
Her efforts to connect felt strained. She grinned, she stepped forward. She tried to draw the audience's eyes, but it failed. The crowd didn't react as they normally would. Cameras filmed, but the spark was missing. Instead, there was unease, awkward silences, and the quiet buzz of confusion. It wasn't flashy, it wasn't loud, but it was clear. Together.
They seem to be doing more and more things completely separate of each other. But I've noticed a real shift. It seems that Harry is the one being elevated. It's Harry being asked to go to events and not Meghan. She is still...
It was a change that revealed much about their bond, and still most missed it. Harry's posture said one thing: control, restraint, irritation. Meghan's behavior said another: longing, insistence, and perhaps a touch of desperation. The tension wasn't in what they said. It was in their presence or absence.
Harry's almost being elevated and Meghan is being pushed into the background. Now, I can't see her taking that.
That day, the spotlight didn't fall evenly on the pair. It lit up fractures that no planned display could hide. The stage's energy revealed what the press ignored. Two people once perfectly aligned, now out of step, and that discord left everyone watching, even if they couldn't explain why, silent.
Of her Hollywood career, because as you say, yes, we believe she is still represented by WME, but for how much longer? Because she didn't show up to the Emmy party that they hosted, and that's a really significant moment in the
While all the tension unfolded on stage, a smaller, quieter detail nearly went unseen. Ukraine, yes, the Ukrainian government referred to Harry as His Royal Highness in official communication. Consider that for a moment. The same title supposedly taken from him, the same status the palace said he no longer had. Yet here it was, acknowledged officially. No correction, no objection, no public comment, just acceptance. And that quiet is deafening.
Would report a thing very seriously, but I think she is, and I will come to that momentarily. But first, it wasn't a particularly good night, I have to say, for Harry either at the...
Wasn't accidental. Protocols aren't random in diplomacy and politics. Every word, every title, every gesture counts. That subtle nod from Ukraine revealed more about Harry's remaining royal connections than any bold headline could. It suggested a complex reality. He may have distanced himself from royal duties, but he hasn't entirely walked away. First, there
was an awkward moment where the wife of Richard Marx, who ended up tagging...
Meanwhile, on stage, Meghan fought to make her presence felt. The mic, the audience, the uneasy silences all unfolded in sharp contrast to the unseen authority still tied to Harry's name. One hand held the spotlight, the other stayed bound to the weight of centuries-old tradition.
How far Harry has fallen. He now has to hang around backstage waiting for no-mark pop stars to shake their hand, even though they're not introduced, and desperately be called Prince Harry.
The contrast was striking. On one side, the very human tension of a couple out of sync before the world. On the other, the silent reminder that Harry, even as he seeks his own life, remains bound by royal duties and expectations. And that's the nuance most overlook. The stage. Drama is loud, obvious, and sensational, but the quiet, lasting power of protocol is the hand that continues to guide every choice Harry makes, whether he knows it or not. Harry is caught between two worlds. One foot in California, the sunny life he's tried to shape, the podcast, the polo, the freedom to live without cameras trailing every move. The other foot, still anchored in centuries of royal expectations, protocol, and unseen duties he cannot fully...
He left the royal family. He just wanted to be known as Harry, didn't he? He just wanted to be Jack the lad. But back is that princely title, even though he hates everything to do
Does
with
every movement, every choice, every public moment is a deliberate negotiation. The way he moves, the people near him, the functions he joins, all quiet reminders that he's never entirely free. Palace staff, not personal assistants or friends, travel with him. Official titles remain acknowledged. Tiny, nearly invisible signals, yet they speak louder than language.
Miller, who was actually at the event, posted saying, I was at Kevin Costner's event last night, actually held at his backyard. I took this photo of Harry without his wife when he was introduced. He did not get
on stage. The tension was tangible. The mic, the silences, the uneasy glances. It wasn't merely a show. A portrait of a man split. One side longs for freedom, unshackled by history. The other can't escape the pull of legacy, duty, and worldwide expectation. It's draining to watch, not in a too-many-flight sense, but as if someone bears invisible burdens. Harry's charm, his energy, his confidence all seem measured now, restrained. He is a man inhabiting two worlds, neither entirely comfortable,
so
neither
certainly
fully his
their
own.
stock has significantly fallen, even locally now.
Oh, it's absolutely plummeted. I think they're at ground zero. I mean, especially Meghan.
And as Meghan strives to claim space, assert influence, and draw attention, Harry manages the fragile balance between old duties and new goals. The tension isn't loud, yet it's clear. Anyone observing can notice it. He's trapped in a limbo that no fairy tale or Hollywood life can fully fix. Meghan once commanded every frame, every camera, every conversation. Wherever she appeared, the world watched, drawn to her presence, her style, her smile. She was in control. She owned it. But recently, that allure has begun to fade.
Meghan, for, as we said, multiple reasons why she probably didn't go, licking some wounds from last year. It's
Clearly, the Kevin Costner event was a perfect example. Meghan wasn't scheduled. She wasn't expected, yet she showed up, stepping into a space that wasn't hers, trying to insert herself into a moment already underway. But the spark wasn't there. The audience didn't react. Cameras filmed, but no one applauded. The charm that once came effortlessly now seemed forced. Harry, meanwhile, stayed focused, seemingly indifferent to her attempts to dominate the spotlight. The dynamic had shifted. She was no longer aligned with him. Her presence felt awkward, almost desperate, and the contrast between them was painfully obvious.
Tired of it all, but he obviously still isn't ready to give up this push for a celebrity stroke royal lifestyle. Otherwise, he wouldn't continue to go to events.
At events, even off stage, the change is clear. Meghan's carefully crafted public persona, the polished smile, the controlled gestures, feels more like armor than sincerity. Every appearance, every outfit, every grin seems like a planned attempt to regain influence, but people notice when the act slips. It's subtle, yet it's happening. The audience isn't captivated anymore. They're puzzled. The energy that once followed Meghan has faded, and while Harry maneuvers his own tricky path between freedom and duty, Meghan struggles to stay relevant. The spotlight that once obeyed her now only highlights her struggle, yes.
It is definitely a fall from grace when an 80s icon, Richard Marx, has to be told, oh, this is Prince Harry. So his ego is definitely being hit hard.
Not every clash makes headlines with shattered glass or flying items. Some conflicts are quieter, subtler, and somehow even more telling. Meghan's recent actions on stage were exactly that kind of silent outburst. She stood there grinning a bit too broadly, her stance stiff, every movement meticulously controlled. It wasn't charm anymore. It was insistence, a push to be seen. The audience, the cameras, those nearby, all could feel the tension. The magic she once commanded effortlessly was gone.
I mean, what's very interesting, Taz, is that the Hollywood Reporter article did give Harry a pass. It was basically like, oh, he's a nice guy, but he enables her.
Not every clash makes headlines with shattered glass or flying items. Some conflicts are quieter, subtler, and somehow even more telling. Meghan's recent actions on stage were exactly that kind of silent outburst. She stood there grinning a bit too broadly, her stance stiff, every movement meticulously controlled. It wasn't charm anymore. It was insistence, a push to be seen. The audience, the cameras, those nearby, all could feel the tension. The magic she once commanded effortlessly was gone.
Him far too much credit at this early stage, Dan. I think Harry's got many more years before that actually dawns on him. I'm not even sure Harry will ever...
Backstage, witnesses say that smile faded the instant she was out of sight. Her frustration no longer masked by the carefully crafted public image. And with Harry once inside the car, it's safe to assume the talk grew tense. This wasn't merely a scene of public discomfort. It was a glimpse of the deeper strain within their relationship.
He was accused by the chairman of being a bully and misogynist, of being dishonest and all the rest of it. And it did seem as if Harry's reputation had hit the dust. But he
This muted outburst exposed what headlines avoid. The fractures in the union, the change in power, and the subtle yet clear fight for relevance. Meghan pushes to regain control. Harry pulls away, and the world observes, mostly overlooked, mostly dismissed, but fully apparent if you notice. The press has long adored Harry and Meghan, but recently it feels more like sport than reporting. Stories swing from glowing reunion pieces to sensational leaks of marital strain, almost at random. It isn't journalism, it's bait. Drama sells and the world is always watching.
Everyone says, oh, is the old Harry back? Well, it's not the old Harry back. is a new Harry. It's the Harry that wants to have his cake and eat it. He wants to live in
Harry and
California.
Meghan are trapped in it, whether they choose it or not. Each interview, each outing, every grin or mistake is dissected, spun, and repackaged. Meanwhile, Buckingham Palace remains quiet. No statements, no clarifications, no responses. That quiet is intentional. Let the drama fade on its own. Let the spectacle play out without interruption.
And that really is. He and Meghan together have done more in the last 4 or 5 years to
This
destroy...
approach carries consequences. Meghan's allure, once captivating, is slipping. Staged smiles, uneasy arrivals, and efforts to seize attention now seem deliberate instead of natural. Harry, meanwhile, is no longer the relaxed royal people once admired. He's guarded, careful, and worn down, as though burdened by unseen expectations layered with constant public judgment.
And I fear that this trip has done huge damage to the royal family because in the end he'll get his vengeance.
Meghan pushes, yet her sway is fading. Harry resists, yet he's tied to a realm he cannot fully escape. In the press, it feeds the illusion that their influence and relevance endure, even as cracks show to anyone observant. This isn't a simple spat or celebrity stumble. It's a tangled dance of image, power, and survival. The headlines may indulge it, but the truth is quieter, subtler, and far more telling than polished photos could ever be. The world may see the grins, but beneath them, the strain is real. Beneath all the spectacle, the uneasy moments and forced gestures, lies a quieter, more painful truth. Harry and Meghan believed they could step away, break free, and shape their own path. But reality has a way of intruding, and now they're lost in a haze of contradictions and unmet hopes. Fairy tale ended, spotlight wars in full swing. The world is watching each move,